Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey, there's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious, I want your heart, I want to eat his children. I was gonna rip his heart out, I'm the best ever.
Alright. Boxed Out Podcast. Let's get a little rapid reaction going to the fight of the year, I would say, right?
Oh, the biggest fight of the year.
Well, not the fight of the year in terms of the best fight that'll be on the fight of the year. Well, no, this might be on the fight of the year list. You know, in the bottom 10s and 7 to 10.
Oh yeah.
But I'm talking about in terms of importance. Canelo and Triple G last night fight to a draw. Yeah. I'll bring up the scorecards, but what's your just immediate reaction to a draw?
You know what? Honestly, I thought that a draw was probably the best case scenario for Canelo, to be honest with you.
For Canelo?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because just given the fact that, I mean, just eyeballing it, I thought Triple G, took over in the middle portions of the round of the fight. And
you're speaking from a legitimate scoring perspective. You're saying Canelo lost his fight, so the best he could hope for was a draw.
Yeah, I think he lost the fight. I like that 115, 113 or 116, 112, just because after the second and third round, I think Triple G started to heat it up and started to bring the pressure, started walking Canelo down, and he didn't go all out and blitz him, but I thought he tactically landed some good shots amidst some of the Canelo flurries and flash, which the crowd was. I mean, if you watch the fight, the crowd was responding to everything that Canelo did. So that's where it kind of makes things muggy a little bit if you're watching the fight, and maybe possibly for the judges, where you could see that maybe Canelo is doing a little bit better than maybe he's actually leading on.
Yeah.
But I thought. But yeah, I mean, generally, if a guy is, coming forward, using an effective jab, cutting the ring off pretty good, being the aggressor, and the other guy is still getting in his counter shots, but if the other guy who's coming forward and being the aggressor is still landing shots of his own that you can see, then, I will kind of lean towards favoring giving that guy the round, So yeah, I thought the draw was. I thought that was the best case scenario for Canelo. I don't see a lot of people online
saying that he won.
That he won the fight. Yeah, so that's why I would say the draw was the best case scenario for him.
I thought I definitely agree in that instance. If we're just coming from he lost a fight perspective, which I felt he lost a fight. I mean, when we always talk about the scorecards, we always say, we can be, generous or ruthless. If you want me to be generous, he probably lost 7-5. If you want me to be ruthless, he probably lost 8-4. I mean, he was getting the shit kicked out of him for a large majority of that fight. He was on his bike running, going backwards. He was in survival mode, period. He was trying to survive. And
yeah, I thought a lot. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And that's my initial reaction to the draw is just that. I mean, the scoring was just bad, and people are focusing on Adelaide Bird, which was probably will go down as one of the worst scorecards in the last. It's up there with the Pacquiao and Bradley scorecards, at least.
The worst scorecard since Times New Roman.
At least
since that text was invented, because she wrote it in Times New, her scorecard was in Times New Roman.
Man.
So if it were be typed.
The thing with the Pacquiao and Bradley scorecard is that even though the judges gave it to Bradley in a fight that Pacquiao won, they gave it to Bradley in a close fight, right? So you can kind of rationalize.
I don't know.
No judge had to know 118-110 for Bradley.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They made it more believable.
Yeah, they had it 115-130. So you could kind of see, even though they were wrong, you could kind of see those judges saying, they were like, oh, it's a chess match. It was, razor thin rounds here or there, right? I mean, yeah, they were wrong, but you could kind of see the rationale for that. Adelaide Byrd had this. She gave Triple G the 4th round and the 7th round. That's it.
Yeah, the 4th round was the beginning of Triple G coming on. The
4th round was the beginning of Triple G. I mean, just Canelo going on, survivor mode, and Triple G stalking him like Jason from Halloween. It was like, I mean, that whole fight. If you go from the 4th round on, even though Canelo is landing bombs, right?
Yeah.
If you go for the 4th round on, Triple G is stalking him like a serial killer that whole fight, walking through every single bomb he throws, everything he throws, he's walking through.
And then also too, just at times displaying good defense, catching shots on his shoulders, catching shots on his gloves, taking steps back to get away from Canelo flurries. Some of those things need to be highlighted too, because I think a lot of people don't give Golovkin any credit for his defense. And yes, he took some big shots, but this is a fight, and his style to come forward, I think he does a pretty good job defensively. Go ahead.
Just I don't know how we don't dwell on the scorecards, but so to me there were 2 tragedies when I looked at the scorecards last night when they released the official scorecards. One, clearly Adelaide Byrd out of her.
One was
mind.
The 118 side of the scorecard, and the other one was the 110 side of the scorecard. Right, so those were the 2 things.
Those were 3 tragedies. The other one for me was that all 3 judges had Canelo winning the 10th, 11th, and 12th round, which to me is just straight bullshit. He won the 12th round. No, he didn't win those. He didn't sweep 10 through 12. He did not. That did not happen. I'm sorry. That really pissed me off. Just see, because it's like, it's when you go back and you look at these fights, it's like, oh well, even though on the whole we had some incompetence last night, if we just had an ounce of people know what the fuck they were doing late, I mean, we would have ended up with the right decision.
But do they know what they're doing?
Because if you go to the God, I don't have it up. The judge who had it Don Trello, who had it 114, if he scores any one of those last 3 rounds for Triple G, then he wins the fight. Yeah, and Adelaide Byrd, her scorecard is atrocious, and it's a joke, but it's a footnote, and it's laughed at. It's not the reason why we're sitting here and the reason why Triple G gets screwed. So that to me was a joke, because I thought Triple G won maybe 11th round I think was 50-50. The 10th round I thought he won. The 12th round, Canelo, I thought he was pretty smart. He came out first minute and just really kind of lit Triple G up, but he couldn't get him out. That was the theme too. Another small theme of the fight. Let's transition to the actual fight now, because I'm tired of talking these depressing ass scorecards. Canelo he would throw these flurries, and he would have these stands to where normally it would stop a guy in his tracks, and he couldn't stop Triple G from coming, and that kept happening time and time again. What did you think of just the fight, of Canelo's performance?
I just thought immediately that, because in the lead up to this fight, and we know this is promotion, this is selling the fight, that Triple G always comes forward, which he did hold up to his end of his bargain. And De La Hoya would often say, well, Canelo doesn't take a step back. And immediately in the first round, Canelo is using his movement, which is smart. He knows. You can't stand in there and fight Golovkin. Canelo was on his fucking
bike.
He was in there early. And then also, too...
and shout outs to my man, Lara.
Yeah, I thought that was funny, too.
Who ran last night, buddy? He's running all night. Come on,
yeah,
man.
So that was the first impression, because we've never really seen Canelo have to use that much movement in a fight, So I thought it was very interesting and very telling of what the strategy for the whole night would be, It wasn't going to be where he would just come out and just go toe-to-toe or, knock out. Because he said he was preparing for the knockout, but he obviously was preparing to go 12 rounds.
They prepared to go 12 rounds because they already knew they had one judge and people say, oh, we were worried about Dave Moretti. We should have been He wasn't. It was Adelaide Bird. No, they probably just paid off both of those judges. They probably took Dave Moretti, because Dave Moretti's a professional at this, right? He turned in a nice 115, 113 for Canelo. I don't agree with it.
Or no, for Golovkin, right?
No. Oh yeah, for Golovkin. Yeah, you're right. But
what got into Moretti last night?
But still, though, he gave those last 3 rounds to Canelo. I mean,
right?
Yeah. So I don't know. But
it's just interesting. You hear in the corner Reynoso saying, "Hey, we need these last 3 rounds," and the judges, I think they heard that too.
Yeah, man. But yeah, so you know what? It wasn't Moretti that they bought off. It was Adelaide Bird. But then, yeah, I'm just dumbfounded.
Canelo,
but yeah, let's get back to the fight. Yeah,
Canelo moving backward, to me, it kind of reassured that Golovkin is who we thought he was and who we think he is. And who some of his detractors may not believe that, they don't really see him as this monster. But I think the guys that get in the ring with him, they know what they're dealing with. So he definitely had his respect. But then also in terms of respect, Golovkin definitely had tremendous respect for Canelo.
Yeah,
because
this is what I think is a failure of Triple G's game plan last night.
There was pockets in the fight where Canelo was on the ropes and Triple G was gauging him up and sizing it up, feinting, touching him with the jab a little bit, but he never went really all out on the ropes because there was a fear of Canelo's counters. And What Canelo did at times was counter to the body. He obviously countered to the head, and Triple G had to be aware of that. Triple G, he is a knockout puncher. He is a power puncher, and but he's also a great boxer. And I think part of the reason why he dispatched of these guys on his way up is because, he's an elite fighter, and an elite fighter is going to just do what's necessary to win each fight. And it was necessary to just get those guys out of there because he had the skill to do so. But, in a fight where you're fighting another elite fighter, you can't do everything that you want to do. An elite fighter is going to take away something, right?
That is true.
I mean, at all levels of every fight, and I think that's what we've seen. We've seen these last 2 fights and where they've gone the distance.
Let me just start off with just give Canelo some credit here, because Canelo's, by most of the boxing world, which is kind of unfair to Canelo because he fought the fight of his life yesterday. I mean, he just I don't. It's hard to say because he seems to get better with every fight, but I don't think he'll ever fight a fight that, as well again in his career. He fought the fight of his life. Let me give him credit for the stuff he did.
And that performance beats most guys.
Yes, that performance beats, most guys.
Because they can't take that power, sharp shots.
Let me give Canelo credit for what he did, for the positives for Canelo. 1, conditioning. There's been a question his whole career, right? And yeah, he was dead in there a few times, but he did, in terms of just making it bell to bell, he made it, right?
Right.
I didn't think once he started that first minute, I told you, I was like, he cannot last going backwards for 12 rounds. This is impossible. Not the Canelo I know. They prepared for it, and he did. So I'll give him a checkpoint for that. Second thing I'll give him a check for is his chin was tremendous last night. He buckled a few times, and he was hurt a few times, and you pointed out that he has a great poker face.
Oh yeah, he never showed it.
He took some shots. He took some shots last night that other middleweights have taken from Triple G that have put them down and eventually led to them being taken out. And he took them, and I got to give him full credit for that because he took some shots, and he took some of those classic Triple G shots that Triple G gets you started with on the side of the head. Triple G was hitting them with these really short, especially in those mid rounds when he was ramping it up, these really short, straight, like
right hands.
It's like a straight, but it's like a looping. It's like a curved straight. It's like on top of the temple, on the top of the head shots. He hit him with a few of those that normally give people all kinds of problems. Canelo took him fine. I got to give him full credit for his chin last night. I didn't think there was any way that he'd still be on his feet, that he wouldn't at least touch the canvas one time after going 12 rounds Triple G. He took some tremendous shots. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, and on top of the Canelo credit train that we're rolling on, another thing that I thought he did really good too was late in the fight, he knew he was, tired or hurt, and
He held.
not that it's not that it's a great legal tactic
no,
much, but he held and he tied him up, and
yes, that was so smart. He saved his ass.
Yeah, those moments bought him enough time to navigate and get out of certain rounds.
Yeah, if you're watching, with some casuals, and they're like, oh, stop holding, like those few holds that bought him like 2-3 seconds. That really amounts to like 20-30 seconds in a round, because you get break, the ref breaks you, then you have to reset, then you have to re-engage. It buys you time, and he did that selectively those last 3 rounds to save him. That was really smart. So I give him all credit for that too. The other thing I was going to bring up, well, the other 2 things are his jab. I thought was tremendous last night. I mean, obviously it was sharper earlier because he had more energy and he was stronger earlier. But even late, he was still jabbing enough to where it kind of kept Triple G from really going full Triple G and just really selling out on him. That and his defense, even though he took a beating last night, I mean, I got to give him credit for his defense, because he did elude some punches, and you got to give, anytime a guy, alters another guy's game, fighting style, you got to give him credit for his defense, because, we didn't see the normal Triple G we saw. Triple G had to change, like you brought up. He was in there with another elite fighter. So all credit to Triple G, Canelo, for those things. What else did you see from Canelo?
Another thing that I liked that Canelo did, there was a moment late in the fight where Triple G missed, and Canelo kind of directed him in a way to set up a big power shot that he landed. And, of course, Golovkin ate it, but it just goes to show that Canelo is just adding wrinkles to his game and getting a lot better in every fight. So, that was a good thing. I think if we're just positive, I think we've seen just get rid of the eliminate the result of the fight and the scorecards and all that. I think we saw some of the best things about each fighter last night. Yes. That have got them to the level that they're at now.
Now I have to criticize. My biggest criticism of Triple G last night was, while I thought, and bear with me here, while I thought that Canelo didn't win the fight, on a larger scale, I thought Triple G lost the fight. He made the decision to lose the fight early on, because the amount of respect he gave Canelo from the onset, especially given the punches and given what we saw for 12 rounds, that while Canelo hit him with everything in the book, he was still coming, smiling, and still stalking him. So if you already have it in your mind that at some point you're just going to stalk and not respect him and walk through everything, the fact that he paid so much respect for him for the first 3 or 4 rounds, that lost him the fight to me. Like, because you're losing and being tactical and respectful and trying to map him out and feel him out, you're not going to win on the scorecards against Canelo in Las Vegas. Like, this is what we talked about in the preview thing, which is this fight cannot go to the cards. There's no way Triple G's beating Canelo on the cards. And he didn't. And he needed to know that. His team needed to know that. And that was a huge failure for me. I was like, if you're waiting this long to get ramped up, what round did you say you ramped up? Like the 4th round?
Yeah. But see, that's the thing, though. Even some of those first 4 rounds, the tenor and the tempo of the fight was to Canelo's liking, because Triple G wasn't as effective.
No,
but even in those spots, that I think those rounds are kind of close too.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not saying that Canelo won all those early rounds. What I'm saying is that tempo that Triple G set, which I'm more than certain that Canelo couldn't withstand, a full 12 rounds of that. He needed to start that earlier, because then that gives him time on the back end of the fight, right?
Right.
Canelo's dead tired in the 8th round with 4 rounds to go. Canelo's dead tired in the 7th round with 5 rounds to go. You know what I mean?
Right. But where too along the same lines, just going opposing to that, where is Triple G at that moment too? Because this is a guy that's a little bit older,
He's at the same moment. I would say he's at the same moment he was last night. I mean, in the 12th round, after taking, Canelo's best combinations and biggest bombs, he was still stalking him to the last second of the fight. I think he was fine. I mean, We talked about this being the Super Bowl. Leave it for tomorrow, and he was ready. He was willing to do that after the 4th round. But if he would have started that earlier, he would have had more time to finish the job because the job was there to be finished. I mean, Canelo was hurt. He was out on his feet a few times. He was rocked really bad. But there just wasn't enough time left for Triple G to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good fight, and all in all.
All in all, let's put a positive spin on this.
I enjoyed the fight.
This was a hell of a fight in terms of for a big pay-per-view. The only other fight I was thinking, like in terms of in recent years of big pay-per-views that actually deliver at this level, I wouldn't put Ward Kovalev 1 on there, even though it was a great fight, because it was a different type of fight. It was a fight that was great because of an obstacle that was overcome by Andre Ward. And then, so it wasn't really that great of the drama was in the comeback, right? The drama here in this fight last night, it kind of felt like it kind of felt like either guy could win type of deal, right? Because Canelo did rock Triple G a couple times. So I will put this fight above that one in recent memory. Because most pay-per-views, to be honest, of large scale, they suck. The main event is terrible. Yeah, I would say it was a good fight. What do you think? Because you think everything sucks.
No, I definitely thought it was a good fight, and once it got the tempo ramped up a little bit, once Triple G really got going and made Canelo fight, it really showed. It really gave the crowd something to get excited about. So, yeah, no, it was a great atmosphere. There was some good two-way action. There was some gamesmanship on both.
Yeah.
Both guys got a little, not dirty, but a little competitive. Both guys got a little chippy. And one thing that I like to highlight is before the fight, Reynoso pointing out to the ref to watch Triple G's shots behind the ears and his hip shots. And Canelo often, well, not often, but he threw several hip shots.
Yep.
Several shots behind, like borderline on the rib cage around the back. And he threw a couple of low blows, I thought. So, I thought that was interesting. But, that's Canelo being wise, being smart, taking advantage of being the A side,
Now let's wrap this up by going to the future here. And we're talking about the rematch.
This is an interesting thing
This is where
to
I'm
talk
not going to
about.
be so damn positive. I'm just going to just say it simply. I think there's a greater chance that they never fight again more than they have a rematch. And I know people are like, oh, that's stupid because, they can make so much money with the rematch. The whole point of this was to legitimize Canelo. Canelo got out of this fight alive. They didn't get the win like they were planning to. But, hey, they'll take the draw. They're going to try to wait out Golovkin. They're going to try to wait him out until next September and in hopes that he gets destroyed by somebody and that he's not, that fight never materializes. But
even then, in that case, if something like that happens, they'll revisit the fight again because they'll say, hey, that was a great fight the first time around.
I think there's a better chance of Cotto Canelo 2 than Golovkin Canelo 2 ever because I just don't think if this was a situation like Ward and Kovalev where the rematch was like 5 months later, right?
6 months later,
6 months later, I don't think Canelo survives a rematch because the respect is gone. Like Triple G will not respect him in a rematch. So, and Golden Boy knows this.
Are you sure? I don't know. It seems that Triple G is these last couple of fights with these guys that have some appear to have some punching power. Triple G's been very respectful.
But then compare that to
he's a boxer.
Compare that to how he fought Jacobs, though, right? I mean, Jacobs, he respected Jacobs, right?
Right.
So towards the end of the fight, he was not coming on like the way he was coming on against Canelo at all. It wasn't even close.
That's true. But
last night,
Jacobs,
he was full.
Jacobs has better legs than Canelo.
He does, but he wasn't stalking the same way he was. He wasn't throwing a consistent attacks the way he was. Last night he was full on stalking Triple G mode the last half of the fight, and it's like, I just don't think the rematch is gonna happen. And if it does, they're gonna wait until Triple G's like 45 or something, man.
So this is the problem here because it's a good fight. It does good business. good business, especially on the dates of May and September. So if we really have to wait until May, that's like 7 or 8 months,
I'll
right?
tell you this right now. Waiting until May is a fucking joke. Waiting until September is beyond a joke.
Right. So
yeah.
that's the interesting thing when you think about this fight, because a casual fan who watches this, or we threw around the term casual a lot last night, but just the general fan who watches this, who's not really tapped into the sport, they're like, oh man, what a great fight. Both guys, nobody took huge damage. It was a competitive fight. Let's see this again. Why not? Let's just see this again in 3 to 4 months. But that's just not the way the boxing business works.
First of all, that
and
makes
I feel like the excitement
all the sense in the world. If they ran this back in 3 months, right? September, October, November, December. Get your ass in training camp. Training camp is 8 weeks, right? The fucking rematch would probably do way better numbers than the first, whatever this first number is going to do. But they're not going to do that. They're going to wait until May.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So will the second fight be bigger? Because, and then if you're Triple G too, let's talk about this on his end. Okay, say they will do the fight next. They want to do the fight next May. That's 7 to 8 months.
Yep. They're wait.
Does Triple J just sit and not fight anybody?
That's not his style. Because
right, which then, and he is getting older, increases the chances of him taking an L.
Yeah.
And costing himself to even get to the rematch.
And Triple G, he's shown that maybe just because since he got to America, he's just been fighting so much. He needs to fight. He can't sit around on the sidelines and wait. It's not his style to fight once a year, Keith Thurman, or to fight twice a year, Mayweather. That's not his style. He likes to fight. And no criticism of those guys, but it's just different. He's not used to it. Like, Keith Thurman and Mayweather, they know, hey, okay, every time I fight is going to be for a big paycheck, so I kind of have to gear up my training camp and my mind and everything for these selected Super Bowl events of the year. That's not Triple G style. He's been fighting like 3-4 times a year. He's just always in training camp ready to go.
And I think there's another thing to highlight that you bring that up, and that him trying to get these big fights, because his last 3 fights were big events, know? This fight, obviously, the Jacobs fight was a pay-per-view that they did good promotion on, and the Kell Brook fight was a big event over in the UK. It took time for these fights to materialize, and that knocked Golovkin off of his normal boxing schedule. And I think part of that,
and it showed in his performance, I would say.
Yeah, it's taken him time to ramp up in some of these fights, I would think, right?
Yeah, because you could see from the Brook to the Jacobs fight, it was probably his longest layoff since he came over. I think because they were trying to make the fight for the end of that year, the end of 2016, and it didn't get made until 17, right? They fought in March, right? Mm-hmm. It was just a long layoff, so he went from September to March, and he wasn't used to that. That was the first time in a while that he's had that long layoff, probably ever, if we go back and look at his career. So, yeah, I mean, if people think the boxing scoring is and it is, and it's on ESPN all day yesterday and today, if they think that's boxing's biggest problem, its second biggest problem is these political factions we have make it so guys don't fight each other. In the UFC, McGregor and Nate Diaz, they have a great fight, or somebody, whatever, you're fighting again because Dana White's telling you get your ass in there. This was best for business. That's not the case here. We'll be lucky if we get a second fight. We won't be so lucky of when we get it. It'll be whenever the hell.
I think. Yeah. And then another thing I saw, I didn't watch the press conferences. I just saw on Twitter that last night that Canelo said he's definitely done for the rest of this year.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
And he didn't commit to fighting Golovkin in the rematch. Right away.
So there you go. So
it's either that either puts us at May or a year from now, September, in which. Okay, so let's go there. Say this fight doesn't get made in May, right? Mm-hmm. A year from now, September, is Canelo now the prohibitive favorite in Vegas and with boxing fans to beat Triple G?
Yes, because Triple G is you just get older. No matter how you do this, Triple G is older than Canelo, and age catches up with everybody. Everyone gets caught by age, and it's just, I don't know. I'm just saying this is a problem too with Canelo, right? And who else is always giving us who's always on the bad side? Oh, Danny Garcia, right? Who's always on the, in the ire
side.
in the ire of boxing fans. Canelo, as improved as he's been last fights, I mean, people really don't like the hardcore boxing fans. Not really that much of a fan of him, right? Because he has his detractors. Well, you've been in there with guys set up to make you look good, right?
Right.
Then you wait out Triple G. You finally fight Triple G, right? And I would say, let's take scorecards, back history out. That was a hell of a performance, right? How many guys you seen in there with Golovkin and go 12 rounds and trade with him and, survive for 12 rounds and go to war with him like that in those spots? Not many, right? So you build up this credit and then you immediately get rid of it because, one, you get a horrible scorecard and then you're already talking about, everybody's talking about how great you are and everybody's talking about we want to be all-time greats, and then you're not even committing to fight this guy in a rematch. It's like, come on, man. Like, and
then also too, Canelo was very dismissive. He said he thought he won 7 or 8 rounds.
No one thought you won the fight. That's the other thing too. Is like, yeah, whatever. If you can watch that fight and show me 7 rounds that Canelo won, tweet at the Boxed Out Podcast and let me know. I'll just watch those 7 rounds. I won't even watch the rest of the fight. Just tell me those 7 rounds.
Yeah, that'll be good. So, okay, because I think I've seen a lot of this on Twitter too. Did Canelo do enough good enough of a job to make it look like a draw?
You know what? He did. And on first take, he did. Because, and I told you too, like going into the 10th round, 11th round, I was like, man, this fight, it feels closer than it really is. Because by Triple G style of stalking him around and absorbing punishment and just coming, but you got to consider like he's still taking punches in there, right? Canelo is still landing. So it kind of felt like with the casuals too, it felt like, okay, that's fair, right? Because when everybody expects you, see, that's the other thing too, what we always talk about, right? When you do better than what people expect you to do, then you kind of get this, you get the judges kind of favor you a little bit more, right? You kind of, people look at the fight differently when you do better than, like, oh, you were supposed to get knocked out. You didn't get knocked out. So you get a more favorable scorecard.
Also, too, if you take a different route to the fight than you normally do, because Triple G didn't go all out and he didn't get the knockout. So now it makes it seem like, well,
but I will say
he lost the fight. Or it was a draw.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been babbling on about this, but I'm out of stuff to talk about. But I just do want to throw out one thing yesterday. It really kind of pissed me off, and I didn't see it until after the fight when I was reading some stuff and reading the quotes from the post fight. I mean, Max Kellerman putting the onus on Triple G and calling him out and saying it was his responsibility to make the fight after watching that fight in a fight that Triple G fucking won. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you serious? Triple G won the fight. And you're saying, oh, Triple G, you won, it was a draw, but it's really your fault for this bad scorecard because you really should have worked extra hard to even make the fight even more. He was making the fight. He was chasing Canelo around the ring for 8 or 9 of the for all of the rounds because Canelo was running from the first bell. Come on, man. Come on.
I
can't.
That's another thing. The thing too, where it really Canelo's a good fighter. It just makes it kind of hard to root for him because everyone in the lead-up talked about, if it goes 12 rounds, Golovkin's not getting the decision. And we've seen this happen time and time again. And it makes it really hard for you to root for Canelo because it's like everything's being set up for him to look good. So, yeah, aren't you supposed to look good? It's being set up for you to,
I will say
do what you've done a little
about
bit.
The HBO broadcast, which was odd yesterday, was they were – typically they're in Roy calls it how Roy sees it. I'll give him a shout out for that. But typically Max and Jim are in concert, and I felt that they it was such a fight. It was such like a polarizing fight, I think, because Jim, I felt just from the tone and how he's calling action, he kind of felt that Triple G won the fight maybe easily, and I felt like Max was looking for spots to like praise Canelo, and it was interesting to hear.
But maybe what plays into that too is Kellerman knows the scoring game, and he's just like, well,
Yeah. No, I'm sure that what it was. That's true, but I cannot give him a pass for calling out, like basically trying to put the onus on Triple G and saying it's his fault that he got a bad scorecard because he didn't. It was his responsibility to make the fight. He made the fucking fight. He chased the guy around for 12 rounds. What else do you want him to do? I mean, geez.
And then that's the other thing too. Just from myself watching, I enjoyed the fight, but when I'm watching the fight too, I'm watching Triple G do some good work, but then I'm like, oh well, Canelo did that flurry. I don't know. I mean, that could be around that the judges might believe the Canelo one, so it kind of takes away from watching the fight a little bit for me. But here's the thing to point out. So, and when we talked about what we're just talking about now, Canelo versus Mayweather. Canelo got a 114-114 scorecard.
Canelo versus
Lara got 117-111.
to 111. I told you at the time. I've been telling you for years. Not only did Lara beat Canelo, but even if I concede that he didn't, those are some of the worst cards I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
And last night, Canelo 118-110.
Yeah. Whatever.
I do like on Twitter this CJ Ross. It's a parody account, but she tweeted, I had it the same as Adelaide Bird. Excellent card.
Yeah. All right, I'm done.
So okay, all right, you're done.
Yeah, but just last point. Come on, let's wrap this up.
Okay, Canelo obviously won't come back until next year.
Triple G will not wait until next year. He'll fight in December, or they'll try to make the fight with Saunders to get the other belt.
Or Cotto.
Or Cotto's not fighting. No, Cotto's not fighting Triple G.
Can Cotto see the success? Some of the success that Canelo
Cotto
had?
is smaller than Canelo. How the fuck is he going to last for 12 rounds against Triple G?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not waiting until next year. He'll fight at least once, maybe twice before the next time he fights Canelo.
So you think it's just smart business for him to just move on with his career and not wait for Canelo? Because this is where this equals his biggest payday.
Because now
because this is a trilogy in the making.
It is, but I mean, Golden Boy is scared to put their precious asset in there with Golovkin 2 more times. Triple G, just take this leverage you have now and go. Just go.
Canelo,
maximize it. I don't care about Canelo anymore. If Canelo fights again and it's not against Triple G, then he's dead to me. I don't give a damn who he fights next. If it's not Triple G next before September of next year, I don't care. He's dead to me. He's just Mayweather at this point. He's just looking to steal money from people. I'm good. All right, you done?
Yes. Next week you can watch the replay of this fight. Yeah. So check that out, because you also get to see another skilled tactician in the ring who's going to be fighting at the Forum. Jorge Linares versus Luke Campbell. It's not the best matchup, and I think it'll be easy work for Linares, but Linares is such a great fighter technique-wise to look at. And a possible, well, maybe not a possible fight for Mike Garcia, given the network situation, but definitely a guy that you want to watch. So there's that next week, plus the replay.
All right.
Have fun with that.
Hit us up on Twitter, Boxed Out Podcast.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening.